So the latest smashing update in the CBI RBI industry is that Armenia has all of a sudden announced its CBI program, or at least it has drafted its CBI program. This is an exciting development. For a very long time now, people have been anticipating the impact or the full impact of the pandemic and the situation around the world. A lot of countries have started announcing. You had three other countries who have drafted their version as well. But now, finally, it's Armenia that has provided some initial bits of information about its own proposed CBI program. It's in the draft stage. Very soon, and I'm going to discuss the dates in a bit, it's going to finalize this proposal, and when I say soon, it's really very soon. So today in this video, I wanted to cover what this draft entails, how this citizenship was drafted, meaning how was this program provisioned, and which is an important aspect because it's important to understand the foundations of the program. Something announced pretty abruptly should have some legal basis. Otherwise, you run into legal hurdles, like was the case with the car. So we're going to discuss program details which have been drafted and the dates on which this is likely to be approved. But before we jump into this all exciting announcement, if you're new to my channel, my name is Jay Suresh. Here we discuss investments that lead to residencies and residencies that lead to citizenship. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe now, so you're always up to date on the latest and greatest on any of the programs and any exciting developments. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get started. Now, this is a very exciting news because this is a very special region. It's Armenia, of course. It has its proximity to Russia. It's right in that hot zone. Armenia is a special country. It's always known for its great people, its rich culture. It's a predominantly Christian state or country. And it is very unexpected because in countries in that region, citizenship by investment programs don't just crop up and close down. It takes a long time for something like this to get introduced. And once it does, it's exciting for a lot of people. A lot of people have fondness for Armenia. It's a great country. It's a tiny country, but it has a vibrant diaspora around the world. You have Armenians literally everywhere. So being a tiny country, you have great people spread across the globe, and having a citizenship program where people can participate and hopefully be Armenians in future, this is a great opportunity. Now let's discuss the foundational aspects of this program. In countries in those regions, there is a citizenship by exception provision embedded in their constitution. So that foundation is somewhat there. It's just not clearly defined, or the policies are not clearly defined. The basic foundational aspect that's already there states that if you make some special contribution, again, special contribution is decided by the state. And even Bulgaria has this constitution. I've made a separate video on Bulgaria, which talks about the Bulgarian citizenship by exception. Now that is obviously not converted into a citizenship by investment, but here the idea is to convert this special type of citizenship into an economic program, which is citizenship by investment program. So the idea is if you have exceptional contributions in the sphere of economics, science, culture, sports, then on a case-by-case basis, you can be provided citizenship of the country. Now here the intent seems to be that this could be looked at from an economic standpoint. So economic standpoint being one of the provisions where if you make a substantial impact, then you could be granted citizenship. So that is the foundational aspect of this whole program, which again needs to be refined, defined, and policies need to be set in place so it's more clear what this economic contribution means, what is the price tag, and what are the rules and regulations surrounding approving this. So the initial draft talks about, it's estimated to be 150K. Again, this amount is not finalized, but they have drafted 150K USD approximately. So that's the price that we are hearing. And then there are several areas in which this investment can be done. It's literally more than 10 areas that have been drafted. And some of the examples include investing in companies, like company shares is one of the options. The other options include investment funds or bonds. So the government might come up with specific bonds where this investment can be done of 150K. And again, there are multiple options that they're really drafted, but the highlight being the 150K amount. There are other funds that the government may decide, funds for, again, improving some of the other thing in the country. So let's say they are trying to develop certain aspects of their economy or their structure or their country, then one could choose and invest in that vehicle. And that way they can qualify through the economic contribution or the special contribution to the country, and that way they can then approve the citizenship under the CBI program. So this is all in a draft state, but the final approval still needs to come. So these are the different instruments in which one could do this investment. Now, what is the term? How long do you have to tie up your capital? Again, that's not finalized and not clearly defined, but they're talking anywhere from let's say 8 to 10 years, and this is approximately. So that's the time frame at which you're looking at. What really happens after those 8 or 10 years is yet to be seen. Are they going to be fully refunding your investment? Looks like that should be the case, because if they're defining a time frame, ideally they should refund you the amount, so which can happen after the said 8 to 10 years. But again, that needs to be looked at. It looks promising, doesn't look like a straightforward donation. We are giving 150K to them, they're selling you the passport and you become a citizen. It's looking a little like actual investment where you're putting your money in a certain fund for a certain time frame, and then you qualify for that economic contribution. So you're happy that you have you have done your investment in some development, you have invested your money, and then after that, hopefully there's provisions to get your money back. So this really looks like an attractive investment proposition, where you are looking at the investment, where you can feel proud of the investment being utilized for the country. You're actually investing and not donating. And then hopefully after a long wait, at some point in time, you still can look at your money in return. Now, the time frames, 8 to 10 years, I mean, it's better than donation. So let's consider that, one is parting away for this money. Let's not even think that you're getting this back. But then after 10 years, again, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get all of that money back, right? So it is very exciting. It's very interesting. So effectively, after 10 years, you get back your capital. So there is that feel-good factor. Now, no one has seen what happens in 10 years. The opportunity cost really would be interesting what that 150K given today would mean after 10 years. But nonetheless, I think it's a great, exciting way in which they have drafted this. Now, the takers, right? So how is the Armenian passport? Now, the Armenian passport it really gives you access to very few countries. It's not really the strongest passport. It's a tier C type of a passport. 65, 70 countries is what we're talking about, visa free or visa on arrival. So that really isn't, it doesn't give you any Schengen access or any UK access or any of the North American countries. But it's a great country to have a citizenship from. It's a wonderful option. It's a fun country. It's not really in the bad books of anyone. It has good ties with the West. It's a quiet and a peaceful and a nice little country. Yes, it does have certain things going on with its neighbor, but again, I mean, overall, considering other countries in the region, this one seems to be the more quieter option. So it's an exciting option. How does this compete at 150K? Now, because this is not a donation, it's first of all interesting. Secondly, there's that feel good factor about Armenia. A lot of people actually love the whole idea of living or considering this country. It's going to be extremely interesting for a lot of citizens from certain countries, especially surrounding that region. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to allow Russian applicants to apply for this program. It really competes well with Turkey and Macedonia for sure because of the price point and because you might not be losing the entire amount, possibly, but it also definitely competes with the Caribbean options. The Caribbean does give you more access, but that's a different type of a citizenship. Here, you have less of the access, but you have a very interesting, very exotic type of a passport that you're looking at. Now, finally, when is this going to launch? Now, you had previous 3 programs, the CAR, the Central African Republic, again, stalled by some legal hurdles. Again, that foundation that we spoke about is important. You need to have that somewhere in your constitution. El Salvador had that issue. The foundation is one set, you make announcements, and then going back and introducing something in your constitution takes time. So unlike all of those options here, they had some basis. The other 2 countries that have also announced their draft is Albania, which made it clear by requesting proposals from marketing partners. And then you had Suriname also proposing starting its own citizenship. The Suriname program is still in its infancy. Again, not a whole lot of details defined there. But here they are talking about or targeting by the end of this month. So yes, by the end of October at some point, you're really expecting this to be considered for approval. If this gets approved, then it moves really very fast. Now, who is going to be the implementation partner? What are the processing times? How is this whole investment going to be structured? So none of that information we would know until and unless we have practical data on it. So because no one has done this, we don't have any realistic processing times. They might propose something, but whether it's actually going to hold true or not, that would need to be looked at in future. You had the famous example of North Macedonia introduced a program, but we haven't really heard any information out of that program. So hopefully this stays on track, is managed and maintained well. So the partner who is going to manage this program, or the partners who would be marketing and managing this program, would be interesting to see who they approve, or if they're doing this in-house within their own body. So all of that needs to be looked at. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this CBI? Where does this CBI stand with against the ones that are available out there? And if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to get started with your residency option in any countries that I cover, then click the link in the description, book a call with us, and we can discuss your use case and get you started with the residency option of your choice. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and see you in the next one.